Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video here on DNTV, and today, obviously, you can tell that my camera's not on, because due to the fact that my camera is somehow broke and glitching pretty bad, so we are going to change things up today and go no camera. But nonetheless, we are still going to go over our picks for Week 6 and go over our record for Week 5, which Week 5 we did not do very good at all. Week 5, we went 6-7. That brought us up to a record of 39-38, as you can see on the left, which not very good. Some of the games we lost is obviously Sunday Night Football. The Steelers did not end up winning. The 49ers, the Seahawks, the Colts, the Patriots, and the Panthers did not end up winning, along with the Raiders. But hopefully this week we can get a better record, and we can get a better... because it seems like this season is just is very unorthodox. Like, some of the teams that you think would be bad are getting some wins in, and some teams that you think would be good and getting dominating the season are definitely not. So we're going to start out with, as of recording this, is tonight's game, the 49ers at Seahawks. I'm going to pull up my thing real quick, and here we go. So as you can see, on Thursday Night Football, we have the San Francisco 49ers and the Seahawks. However, I think the Seahawks are going to win this game due to the fact that the 49ers are just kind of very inconsistent. And the Seahawks, yes, they did lose one game, I believe. 2 games. I think that they're going to get this win against San Francisco. I think with Christian McCaffrey still being out, I don't think that the 49ers are going to be as good as they thought this year. So the Seahawks are definitely going to take this one. And next we have the London game, the Jaguars versus the Bears. I feel like the Bears are going to win this one just for the sake of they've got some momentum going now. Their defense is playing really well. And the Jaguars are kind of struggling a little bit. They did end up winning in Week 5, but that was against the Colts. And I think the Bears defense is significantly better than the Colts, in my opinion. So I feel like the Bears are going to win. And a controversial one that you call is the Washington Commanders versus the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I personally think this game should have been Sunday Night Football compared to the Bengals and the Giants. But nonetheless, I think the Washington Commanders are going to take this one because Jaden Daniels is playing really, really well right now. And the Ravens, for some reason this year, they seem to, I think, they have a problem holding a lead. And yes, sometimes they can handle the lead because they almost lost to the Bengals, which would have been huge for the AFC North standings, since they are now at the top seed in the AFC North since the Steelers have lost 2 in a row. But nonetheless, I don't think that they're going to win this one, to be totally honest. And obviously, lately with my picks, whether I choose an AFC North team to win or lose, they end up either doing the exact opposite. So Baltimore's probably going to win this one now that I'm choosing them not to win. But I just think that Washington's at a better, not necessarily a better standpoint because they don't have the better record, or better, Washington doesn't have the better roster, but I think that they've got a lot of momentum going right now. Especially, like I said, with Jaden Daniels finding his rhythm and finding his success in the NFL, I think they're going to take this one, and I think they're going to surprise some people this year, to be totally honest. It's really, really kind of catch people off guard. Next, with the Cardinals and Packers, the Cardinals really just don't... Yes, they did win against the 49ers last week, but they are not playing as well as some people would think, especially with Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. But the Packers, I think, are going to take this one, mainly because... But it also depends on who plays at quarterback, and I think Jordan Love's going to be playing, but I don't think that the Cardinals are going to be able to... I think they're going to keep the game close, but I don't think they're going to be able to pull out a win against the Packers. Next, we have the Texans and the Patriots. Now, the Drake May is starting for the Patriots finally this week in Week 6 for the Patriots. However, for his first game starting, I don't think he's going to win against a team like the Texans. If it was a team that was on the lesser side of being good, a team that isn't as good as the Texans, even with them not having Nico Collins and Joe Mixon, I think the Texans are going to make it difficult for Drake May to get a rhythm going this game, with their defense being a decent defense, but not a stellar defense. But nonetheless, I think Drake May will have a good game. Hopefully he actually, shows promise and shows what the Patriots have been looking for, because they've been struggling at quarterback since Tom Brady left. But the Texans are going to win this one nonetheless. I can't speak English today. Next, we have the Buccaneers and the Saints. I have the Buccaneers winning. The Saints, I feel like, are just kind of one of those teams that, how do I want to put this? They can be good when they want to be, but this time with Derek Carr not playing, I don't think the offense is going to be as good as it has, especially in the first 3 weeks of the season. So that's why I think the Buccaneers are going to win, especially with Baker Mayfield playing really solid for the Bucs. And then coming off a bye week too for the Buccaneers, it looks like. I think unless they played on Thursday, because I didn't get my pick in for Thursday last week. But I think the Buccaneers are going to take this one, like I said, especially because Spencer Rattler, I think his name is playing over Derek Carr being injured. So maybe we'll see something different from the Saints offense this week. Who knows? But I don't think so. I think the Buccaneers are going to win. Next, we have the Browns and the Eagles. The Browns are not good. Obviously, you got the quarterback controversy with last week, Deshaun Watson walking off the field when the head coach wanted to go for it on fourth down. And they did say that they are sticking with Deshaun Watson. And obviously, they kind of have to, because he has a $260 million guaranteed contract. It would really look bad on the Browns to bench him now. Personally wise, if a player like that does something to that caliber, like literally walks off the field when you want to go for it, I'd say you're going to sit your ass down this game regardless. But obviously, I'm sure even if the coach wanted to do that, the ownership probably would look at him and be like, dude, you're going to start him because we owe him a lot of fucking money. But just from a player standpoint, or a morale standpoint, when somebody like that just kind of quits on the play and just says, no, I'm not doing it, you kind of look at it like you got a big problem there. And obviously the Browns are just a problem in general because they're the fucking Browns. Definitely not biased because I'm a Steelers fan. But I don't think they're going to play good even against the Eagles that are surprisingly struggling this year. Even with Saquon Barkley, I think I can't quite put my finger on it on why they're struggling so much. Sometimes, nope, they had a bye week. So, especially coming out of a bye week too, I feel like the Eagles are going to win this one, especially because, like I said, the Browns are not a good team, and they did just lose really bad to the Commanders. The Commanders beat them pretty bad. So the Eagles are going to take this one. Next, we have the Colts versus the Titans. I feel like the Titans are going to win, but both of these teams are kind of weird because I suppose it also depends on if Anthony Richardson plays for the Colts or not this week. But the Titans also kind of have a problem at quarterback as Will Levis. I think the Will Levis experiment should be over because he has not been playing very well. I would personally, even from a quarterback standpoint, I would look for Mason Rudolph to eventually be starting a game this year. Whether it be through injury or just trying something out, because Mason Rudolph is a decent quarterback. He is not like a stellar starter, but if you need games won, he can give you a good chance to win. But regardless, I think the Titans are just going to win this one flat because, yes, if Joe Flacco wins, they have a good chance too, but he is getting old and up there, and the Colts aren't as good of an offense. But the Colts, I think statistically or on paper, should have a better offense, especially with they still having Jonathan Taylor. And the defense, I think, is good because I think they have top three. They are top three with some of their defenders in tackles. But I just think the Titans are going to take this one. Next up, I have with the Chargers and the Broncos, I have the Broncos winning mainly because the Broncos are on a bit of, I think Bo Nix is starting to find his way and get some good stuff going. However, like I said, the Chargers are a good team, but I think they're just kind of one of those teams that are kind of one of the middle, in my opinion. But regardless, especially with the Broncos winning last week against the Raiders, pretty good too. I think that they're going to continue that momentum and win. Next, we have the Steelers and the Raiders. This one's probably going to bite me, but I'm going to pick the Raiders to lose. So I'm going to pick the Steelers to win. And it also kind of depends on who's starting, whether they say that Justin Fields is going to continue to start or Russell. I look for next week for them to switch to Russell. However, I think you keep Justin Fields with the hand, mainly because they really need to keep the cohesion going. I don't agree with limiting George Pickens on his snaps, whether there be something there behind closed doors as to why they limited his snaps. But regardless, they really need a wide receiver too that can make some plays on the other side of Pickens, because sometimes when he doesn't necessarily go full on a play or not, you have nobody on the other side that can really make a good play and make the defense fear both people on either side at the wide receiver spot. I really think that they should start playing Roman Wilson more since he's been healthy. They have said that he's not game ready yet. I think probably from a player standpoint, not from a health standpoint, but they do need to get something done at wide receiver because the wide receivers you've got, aside from Pickens, are just not doing it. And especially when the defense knows that, so they don't worry about covering those guys as much and load the box when Harris is in. It's just not a good offense. And it's just surprising with them bringing in Arthur Smith, and it doesn't look the same statistically. It looks similar, but it's just still just such a stagnant offense. And when you look at it, and when you say that, well, we fired Matt Canada, we had interim coaches interim offensive coordinators to end last season, and now you bring in a new offensive coordinator, and it's still just not getting it done against teams that they should be winning against. Really, I would look to the head coach on how he's preparing his team, because it does not. We all know, as Steelers fans know, there's always trap games where they should beat a team and they just come out flat, and they keep coming out flat in the first half and making it a close game in the second half, which is a problem because whether Mike Tomlin wants to say the slow starts at the beginning don't decide a game, you need to start coming out faster in the first half so you're not down so many points in the second half when your offense finally gets going. You really got to let Fields just play his game. You got to let him sling it sometimes. Like I think Big Ben says, is like, if you got a chance to pass it, you got to pass it. I mean, because where's the offense? I mean, where's the running game to back him up? Where's the receiving game? It's just so stagnant sometimes that you got to really change something. You got to do something about it and change how you're preparing them, because clearly how you're preparing your team for games is not fucking working. But next, we have the Falcons and the Panthers. The Panthers lost pretty bad to the Bears. But the Falcons, I think, won last week on Thursday. I think if I remember right, who faced the Bucs. But I think right now, from a standpoint, the Falcons are better off than the Panthers do, which is why I'm going to pick them to win, especially because, and that's also kind of, like I said, it's also kind of depending on whether Darnell Mooney plays. I think he's questionable right now, but the Falcons are just at a better standpoint than the Panthers are, so that's why I'm picking them to win. Next, we have the Lions versus the Cowboys. I have the Lions winning, mainly because I don't think that Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence are coming back this week. So with a defense like that against the Lions, they should be able to take care of business and take advantage of that. So they should be able to win against the Cowboys. On Sunday Night Football, I have the Giants winning because the Bengals are struggling to the point where I think it kind of surprised them too, the Bengals, that they're losing so bad. Because, yes, you still have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I think. But I think they're still just on a struggling run, so I think the Giants are going to beat them. I mean, especially because the Giants are coming off a good win against the Seahawks, and the Bengals are coming off that close loss to the Ravens. I think the Giants are just going to win. I mean, I don't look for this game to be very, exciting, but nonetheless, the Giants are going to win. And on Monday Night Football, the Bills versus the Jets. The Jets are struggling. Now they have a new interim head coach coming in after firing their head coach this week. I have the Bills winning just for the sake of the fact that the offense seems to really be struggling. Aaron Rodgers can't find his receivers sometimes. And Josh Allen is playing a little bit better than... Josh Allen and that offense are playing quite a bit better than the Jets. So the Bills are going to win. Next, I'm going to go over the stat leaders. Because I don't think I did that last week. We have, for passing leaders, Geno Smith at number 1 for 1,466 passing yards. Dak Prescott at number 2 at 1,424. C.J. Stroud at 1,385. Brock Purdy at number 4 at 1,374. And at number 5, we have Kirk Cousins at 1,373. For rushing leaders, Derrick Henry at 572 yards. No surprise there. Jordan Mason at number 2 for 536. And then a big drop, Saquon Barkley at number 3 for 435. Josh Jacobs at number 4 for 402. And then Chuba Hubbard, I think is how you say it, for Carolina at number 5 for 393. Number 6 is Alvin Kamara for 388 yards, so close there. Not surprisingly, but Lamar Jackson is number 8 with 363 rushing yards. Yeah. So there's those. Receiving, Nico Collins for Houston, even though he's not playing right now, for 567 in receiving yards. Jamar Chase at number 2 for 493. Justin Jefferson at number 3 for 450. DK Metcalf with Seattle at number 4 for 421. And Jaden Reed at number 5 with 414. Defensive-wise, tackle leaders, EJ Speed at tied for first with 54. Robert Spillane with the Raiders, tied for first at 54, and Dorian Williams with Buffalo is at 54 as well. At number 4, we have Eric Kendricks with Dallas for 52, and he's tied for fourth with Buda Baker at 52. Logan Wilson and Nick Cross are also tied at fourth. And next, we have Jermaine Pratt and Zaire Franklin at 8 with 51. Sack leaders, we have Aiden Hutchinson at 6.5. Kyle Van Noy at 6, tied for second with 6. Dexter Lawrence with 6. Will McDonald the 4th with 6. And Max Crosby at 5. Max Crosby, Pat Jones the 2nd, Trayvon Walker and Derek Hall all at 5, followed by TJ Watt at 9 with 4.5. So, pretty interesting set top 5 there. You got some guys that are, I think last year really didn't, I mean, because last year's top 5 for the regular season looked completely different. Because I don't think none of those guys really were in the top 5 besides, yeah, none of them were in the top 5. Max Crosby was at 6, Myles Garrett at 7, Micah Parsons at 7, and TJ Watt at first with 19. But yeah, it's a new set of 5 for now. We'll see how that continues to play out, but so that's a kind of a surprising one there. Interception leaders, Xavier McKinney with 5 at first, Kirby Joseph with 3, Tyrann Mathieu, Kamu Grugier-Hill, Marlon Humphrey all have 2, along with Andrew Van Ginkel, Fred Warner, Dante Jackson, Jair Alexander, Cameron Bynum, Jamarcus Ingram, Paulson Adebo, Jalen Johnson, Reed Blankenship, Pat Surtain, Brandon Eccles, and Jalen Jones all have 2 interceptions. That is a lot of people that have 2 interceptions. So, like I said, there are my picks, and they're the stat leaders so far. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to win this week if you've made it this far. Hopefully we'll get a better record this year, or this week. And, yeah. So we will see you guys after week 6, and we will go over our picks again and go on for week 7. Look for a gaming video here soon. I'm going to be doing an interesting Madden 25 idea. So be on the lookout for that. So that's going to do it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications. As I say here at DNTV, stay classy, don't be trashy, and enjoy the rest of your day. Deuces!